They came out of their lodge, and they took out their tobacco, and they went to the four directions, giving thanks. They gave thanks to the fire, to the earth, to the water, to the air. And then they put their tobacco down, and they went back into their lodge. Now Eagle had seen that there were some that remembered. Eagle flew back up to the Creator, singeing his wings on the sun as it was coming up, creating the black tips that we see today. And he said, Creator, there are still some that remember. Come and see. That morning, the old man and the little girl came out of the lodge and again, once more, gave thanks to the four directions and put their tobacco down. And Creator said, Eagle, because of you, I will let the human beings live one more day. I will let them show me that they remember. From now on, they will honor you, Eagle, by wearing your feathers on their heads and on their backs, honoring you. And this is the story of the men's traditional dance. Melvin John. A young man was running for his life. From the Omaha people comes the story of the grass dance. Running as fast as he could, almost breathless, about to give up his life because a war party was chasing him. This young man ran so fast and he couldn't run anymore. He was out of breath. And then he heard a voice in the wind. Lay down. We'll take care of you. He didn't know where this voice was coming from, but he could feel it in the tall grass. Lay down, and we will cover you. The young man laid down, and soon all the grass started to cover his body, and the war party went on. The young man realized he had been saved by the grasses. The grass left his body and he stood up and said, how can I thank you for this? How can I ever repay you for the gift of my life? And the grass said, wear us as you dance. Wear the prairie grass on your outfit, and that way you will honor us for having saved your life. And today we have the grass dance with Shaylin Badger. There was a time after the strangers came where they made all the native people go on reservations. At that time, you couldn't leave the reservation unless you had a notice from the Indian agent saying that you were going to work. You couldn't leave for a death. You couldn't leave for ceremonies. There was no reason that was important enough except to go work for non-natives. There was a young man who had been an Indian fighter. His name was Buffalo Bill. He was one of the ones that shot down the buffaloes on top of the trains. But he lived amongst the native people and realized what they were doing was wrong. Buffalo Bill decided that he was going to create a way that the stories of Native and the Army could be told all over. And what he did was he created the Wild West Show. Now, dancers from all over could go and get their script and show it to the Indian agent, and they would be able to leave the reserves. During this time, the Army, of course, they weren't real, they were actors, and the natives would have huge battles. They would pull up a rope whenever the Army would shoot. When they pulled up that rope, the horses would fall, and the native people would fall. Many were maimed, and some were killed. The native people decided they wanted to compete in a different way. They decided they would compete through dance. And they created a dance that would be a competition war dance. Instead of one bustle behind their back, they would wear two very colorful bustles. And now, the dance would be high-stepping with twisted turns at a fast speed. And this was called the Men's Fancy Dance. Jody John.
Sexiest Northern Creek.
The men would compete. And one time, a young woman from Oklahoma decided that she would paint her face